Right. Yeah. Part two of the Trump Zelensky, and really we're going to see in this part the build up to the argument. Although, like I said in the last one, you can start seeing like the cracks. Um. Also, I'm interested into how, because the way the argument made it look was like Trump wasn't really saying anything, and it was JD Vance doing the talking. But so far, we're 25 minutes in, and JD Vance, I don't think said a word. So I'm quite interested to see what he gets involved with. But also as well, I'm going to do the Keir Starmer. Um, I think Keir Starmer's got to be the most hated prime minister ever. I mean, it's tradition to hate the prime minister, really, but people really don't like Keir Starmer. So, and I've been watching like a lot of, well, I haven't watched them, but I've seen the some British channels saying like titles like he humiliated Trump humiliated Keir Starmer. Yeah, so yeah, we'll do that one after this. But yeah, Trump Zelensky. Let's go.
Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security, when we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance, connection between the United States as the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial, this is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all.
To be fair, what he said there is kind of true. I've said that for ages. The end of the world isn't Russia or China or anything like that. It's when the UK and America go to war. Because yeah, that's I think the Western society's been fragile for a long time, but since the Second World War, since America joined the Second World War, it's been that joint ally between America and the UK. Like it seems like every beef America has, the UK is right there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, people. Yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop, and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us. You know, it's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know, but with all the Europeans, in media, officially and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, after these
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
They have to pay.
This question
This is the rule. This is rule of the war.
But this is the thing. It's in Game of. I'm sure it's Game of Thrones. There's a lot of great lines in Game of Thrones, but one of them is, "I'm not making peace with my enemies," and that's like you can only make peace with your enemies. That's what making peace is. It's like, yes, you don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with your enemies. But then, like Chopper said, everybody bloody hates each other, even during peacetime. It's just human bloody nature.
The rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay. This is the rule. Putin began this war, he has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Under these circumstances, do you envision a trilateral summit with Putin and President Zelensky?
Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and
Yes.
Ukraine or on the Ukraine side.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up?
You can feel that they're not reading from the same hymn sheet. Do you know what I mean? The energy and it's not. They're not on the same page, these two. And it's at the beginning they held it together quite well, but I think as this is going on, it's showing that Zelensky seems to want a beef, and Trump's more peace.
One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. As you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics, they got a lot of, it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed to NATO. But NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize, because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
I think a big reason for that is because the British people aren't bothered. In our case, but it's infuriating people where our government's kind of pretending like they're not involved, and then you read in the paper that Ukraine's firing British missiles into Russia, and then the next thing is Russia's threatening the UK. Like, that's what I mean. Everything's so messy with that war.
About the agreement again today, what changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
What was the
I'm just-
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
Along with the mineral-
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know,
in
but
these
well, they
circumstances?
don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay? They do not like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I could tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Mr. President,
Sorry, just a second. About any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But that the future any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides.
This is a thing. Although I'm fully behind Trump trying to bring peace, I can fully understand the Ukrainians wanting blood. Like I said, Chopper said, it's human nature. It's like the reason why the streets all over the world is a war zone is because one group of friends killed someone from another group of friends, and now it's a tit for tat, and you're never going to give up because of the friends you lost. It's very easy to make unemotional decisions when you're not actually involved. But I can see what Trump's saying, and I would rather see Trump's thing than the continuing of the fighting. But I can fully understand why it's very easy for me to say that, it's very easy for Trump to say that, and it's very easy for anyone in our countries to say that because we haven't been the ones fighting. And yeah, so yeah, I can see both sides.
Will be at the anyway will be at the negotiation table. Then of course United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the need. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR, you know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kyiv or Odessa, which is going to be a dirty-year-old Black Sea?
It was my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No.
And a lot of things have to
Mr.
happen.
President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things have been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us.
My sister was saying that though, because my sister's obsessed with Snapchat. And when events happen, she goes around the world and views people's Snapchats from the place that they are. And she said that, she was like, if you go on the Ukraine and the Russian Snapchats, it's like everyone's just like, there's still people going partying, and like you think it's this massive war zone, which it is, but like he said, not away from the front line. I guess at some point it's going to reach everybody, but yeah, my sister was saying that, she's like, it's weird, you go on there and some people just like living like nothing's going on.
No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So,
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good.
Facts.
And I've known
That's
him
what I
for a
said in
long
part
time.
one.
I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do, is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess, because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made of Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one, that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
That is dead in our country. Dead. People are going to prison every day for things they put on social media.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday, and I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you guys spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay, and how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am, I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian forces?
They'll be protected. The agreement will protect them.
US
the agreement, yeah.
I was going to say, because in the last one I was saying that they keep asking the same question. And I actually thought that's a good question from her. That's a good question. That asking about what is in the deal, even though he's going to be loose because you don't want to overplay your hand publicly of what you want the deal to be. And do you know what I mean? So Putin can use that to his advantage. And do you know what I mean? Trump's a shrewd businessman, but she started off great. I thought that was a great question. That was a great question, and it was about the deal. That's what I was saying. Ask about what his deal is. But then she goes, and who? Like, it's just a different way of asking. And she just kind of took the scenic route round to, are you going to arm them? Because she went round to who's going to protect their minerals.
An agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in those spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions. Focus on surviving, because CNN's got such low ratings, I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please go.
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, you know, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Well, hold on. I'm going to pause it there and make some more coffee. But, yeah, I like how Trump's coming at this. And what he said reminded me of something Putin said ages ago about being asked if he's friends with America. This is way before Trump. I don't think... But he said no. He's like, I'm not. I'm president of Russia. My first job is to be president of Russia, not friends to America. And I like what Trump's saying. It's like, yeah, if you want to end this war, because the other choice is all-out war, and that's the end of the world. It just is. And Trump also realizes, I think, that it's like you see it with drug dealers. Drug dealers don't want a turf war. Like, you see it all the time. It's like, it's bad for business. It's like, the less violence and that's involved, the smoother business runs. And it's just true on a larger scale of the world. The world as like I was saying, it's so, everything's like so vulnerable at the moment. And people don't realize how vulnerable. And the best thing for everyone is to come to the table, no matter what you think of each other. The best thing for everybody is to come to the table and all walk away with something that benefits you and your people. And like Trump said, the world. Because the opposite thing is everyone starts slinging nukes around. And then that's the end of the world anyway. So, like, wouldn't it be much more productive and sensible to go with the come to the table no matter what your difference is? And like Trump said, yeah, he doesn't like Ukraine. And they're not really too fond of him. And I'm trying to make a deal between the two of them. Like, yeah. But yeah, hold on, let me make some more coffee. All right, yeah. I was just thinking in as well on the whole Putin-Trump friendship. If he was truly friends with Putin, and on Putin's side, he could just completely side with Putin, steamroll Ukraine, and they can just divide it up against themselves.
I want to respond to this. So look, For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering all
position
these
to
questions.
dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about
it. From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong. from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about US
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
And
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards, but without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken
What if they
ceasefire
broke it?
many
I don't
times.
know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
I know this is and I need the back of the chair.
We'll see. I don't know.
All right, guys, come on. Wait, hey, let's go. Guys, come on, let's move, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was still a crazy ending, even watching all of it. But kind of, like I say, you could just get the vibe that they just weren't. Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't the same energy they're bringing. But watching that as well, I think watching that, it did escalate, and yeah, because I was thinking Zelensky's got a point. He had a point. What he was saying first, like he had a little rant before it all kicked off and before they kind of snapped back at him. But he was making points. If they was true, we signed a ceasefire and agreed to free prisoners. We did, they didn't. Like, he was making a point, but I can't remember what he said. There was a moment where I thought you shouldn't have said that because it become disrespectful to Trump. Well, not just to Trump, but to America, to someone who's helping you. And it was only something subtle as well. I can't remember what it was that, because I thought, let's go and see if we can go back. I don't know if I'm going to find. It was the what kind of diplomacy?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he
I
killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are
President,
not
Mr. President, with respect.
See, even then, I can't remember what bit I thought. But to be fair, what he's implying, that's what, yeah, it's more of an implication in what he was saying. That he's saying that Trump was president and Putin didn't listen. Yeah. Yeah. And this basis are I mean, there's a lot of truths being said on both sides. I would say the best idea would be to do what Trump said. All come to a deal. But like they said, they've come to deals before. But then it's like, well, what do you want to do then? Because it's end of the world. But to be fair, let's be honest. The end of the world's been coming for ages. Let's be honest. That if it ain't now, it's going to be soon. People just got too much serious weapons. But yeah, it was kind of a crazy escalation, to be fair. It was kind of a crazy thing. But actually, as well, I thought watching this is quite a good thing. I mean, I don't know whether presidents have done it before because I've never really been interested. I don't know whether prime ministers do it. I don't know. But kind of getting to see these type of conversations between powerful people is actually, it's actually quite fascinating because this may be the most important thing going on at the moment. Well, any war really. But yeah. But I kind of see what Trump, like I said in the first one, I see what Trump's saying and doing. And that it's like, all right, we've had fighting, we've had that. But if we can actually come to an agreement that's mutually beneficial for everybody, because as then, this is another thing. Not only does it make everybody work together and everybody is helping each other out, so it kind of, but not only that, if the deal Trump sets up, which is going to be that a trade off of different things, whether it's land from Ukraine and whatever from America and whatever from Russia and whatever from Europe if Europe gets involved, but say it's just Ukraine, America, Russia. If everybody's benefiting off of that thing, it then gives, like Trump is putting in place, more of a reason for America to back Ukraine because of the business deal, because of the beneficial thing. And now that if Putin does invade Ukraine and messes that up, then he's messing something up that's being beneficial to America, which is going to give America more reason to protect you. So in a way, if you think about it from what Trump's doing, it's pretty smart, if that is what he's doing. And like I say, if America enters that deal with Russia and Ukraine, like I say, it's gonna actually give America a reason to want to defend Ukraine in the future. But like I say, if America goes to war, we're going right behind them. 100%. So you're going to get both countries, and then obviously the UK comes with all the Commonwealth armies. Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully Trump gets to get his deal through, and hopefully it does help and is beneficial. But like he said, the animosity between the two sides, that's a rough one. Do you know what I mean? That's a rough one. It's like as hard as Israel-Palestine, really. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. But that's the reaction. Sweet.